Welcome, friends, to Reality Test. What is reality testing, you may ask? Well, it's something we all do every day, maybe with our loved ones over dinner, with coworkers at the water cooler, etc., when we check our subjective or personal emotions, thoughts, and so forth against objective or sort of more agreed upon fact-based reality. Although, because Dr. Ray and I, Dr. Kay, are social constructionists, we don't actually believe there's one true objective reality, but rather our own personal versions of it constructed in the context of relationships. But you get the idea. So here in Reality Test, we're going to be testing the castmate realities and the producer antics of our favorite reality TV shows against what we know as licensed psychologists about the reality out here, off of our TVs. We hope you'll join us as we attempt to reality test. That's it. Thanks, y'all. Now check out our campy theme song.
Are you feeling stressed? Your head's all messed? Well, let's forget all the rest. Fuck it, we're blessed, cause it's time to talk reality test. Come with us. Let's reality test. Welcome to Reality Test. I'm Dr. Ray.
And I'm Dr. Kay. Feel free to check in and take a seat wherever you like. We're going to wrap up our Love Island days of season 7 with these awards that are going to be for the whole season. We're just going to take the whole season on deck and think about our favorites and least favorites and all this good stuff from Love Island season 7. What a season.
I miss them. I think last season I had to adjust to this appointment television moment that is Love Island. Mm-hmm. And I was adjusted this time and I was so ready for just watching them do their thing. And once I caught up after my honeymoon, I was there. And I'm now like feeling a Love Island hole in my heart, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it really did. It was a good season. It was much better, I think. Well, no, so last season was great. And I think that maybe hooked you so that then you could enjoy this season too. And I think there were moments this season that felt a little lully. Like I think I've decided, we talked about this last time, and I've decided that that's the answer, is that I didn't laugh a whole lot. Like there weren't funny people on this season. Like Cordell was super funny last season. I felt like John A was so funny. Serena was like a good straight man for John A's humor. I just felt like there was some real good humor last season.
And Leah was kind of... Do you think... Now I'm wondering, because I feel like they were trying to cast for last season. So like, was Leah supposed to be... Like, was Huda supposed to be a Leah proxy? Mm-hmm. And then...
Serena and John A was Shelley and Alandria.
And Shelley. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to adjust to the fact that because I definitely think they tried to compare Cordell and Taylor, and they're just not the same person. Like, how could they be? And frankly, like, not to compare them, they're different, but Cordell is hilarious.
Yes.
Taylor is
childish.
His humor is not my humor, personally.
No.
Yeah, I think that's a great read on it, that it's a difference in the haha. Mm-hmm. What I saw too was like, I was like, damn, is sexism like back? It felt, I'm like, did all of these men go down the wrong rabbit hole? Because there were such like obvious sexism tropes that were just like screaming all season.
Yep. It was
weird.
I feel like that's a symptom of Trump era.
Yeah. Holy shit. It was a bummer.
So bad. Yeah. So bad. And it's like the audience of Love Island tends to be liberal. So I don't know why they thought that would be appealing, or if they were trying to get us upset or like activated so that we'd vote or whatever. Like I was thinking that with Austin, that the reason that they saved Austin for so long is because everyone said that as soon as they got a chance, they would vote him out. And so they knew people would vote more if Austin was still in the game because they're going to try to vote him out.
And yet there was a segment of the audience who I guess liked him because he did have good qualities. Of course he did. Of course he does.
And not everyone
knows.
Good or
all bad.
Not everyone knows that he's a Trumper too. Why do you think there was a segment that liked him? Was there like online?
Yes, I don't see a lot of anti-Austin content, and a lot of people like talked about how he was goofy. I don't think he's like a fan favorite or anything, but I think he got lumped in maybe with the Jeremiah segment of the pop, like
good point.
Who thinks that like Jeremiah was wronged because Austin kind of aligned himself with Jeremiah. That's my sense.
Yep, that makes sense.
But you're right. I think a lot of people didn't know. I didn't know until you told me.
Yep, same. Yeah, not same. I mean, same with my husband now. I also told him. But yeah, exactly. I think it is tough because it's like you know, in some ways you don't want that to carry into something like this, but at the same time, of course it carries into this, because part of why you vote for people is because you like them. It's not just because you think they have the best love, you know?
Right.
You have to like them too.
It is a popularity contest, because Amaya and Brian did not have the best love.
No, but a cute one though. He was defending her and stuff. I like it. I will say too, like, Austin was always in the bottom. Like, he just was never the one that this cast voted out. Like, he was always just barely saved. But
that's true. Yeah. You're right. He did have like 9 lives.
Yeah. That's why it felt like they were trying to save him, because there were so many times he could have easily gone home. Even in terms of, what is her name? The one that the second girl he was with at Casa, she like chose him over Nick, which was quite a choice. Like, that felt, you know, like a choice. And I kind of felt like she would have gotten so much shit from people if there wasn't something else going on. Like, I felt something was, you know, manipulated in some way.
I like it. I like where your head's going.
Well, it does help them get more votes, so I do get it. I think that's the tough part too, is like with all of the racial slur stuff, because how the fuck did they not see that? And so then part of you wonders, like, did they like know about, for example, but specifically Yulissa, because it was so front and center on her account, so easy to find. There's no way they didn't see that, and they were ready to get her out of there, and they did it right away. So it's hard not to imagine that maybe they knew what they were doing, because they knew people would get really up in arms, and then people were more likely to watch it. So I hope that's not true.
It's kind of great, and it's frankly kind of damaging to all sorts of people, to the people who watch the show.
Very.
And even to the person who, like, I guess it's a way to force growth, but maybe not, because now Yulissa's doubling down, and it's like, it just doesn't seem good for anyone, really.
No. The shame is real. I just made a video clip from our last episode about the cancel culture conversation we had too, so I'm going to post that soon. But yeah, really, it's so true. We had a really good discussion last week about cancel culture and the ways that shaming isn't helping anybody grow. You know, like, shaming her isn't going to help her grow. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough out here in this, like you always say, it's tough out here in the society we're in. This sociopolitical atmosphere of late.
Woof. It's just kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But there are also some great things about Love Island and its continuing reign. And I love how it's become like kind of I actually was listening to Pop Culture Happy Hour, which had just had its 15th anniversary. And
good for them.
Yeah, I've been listening to that show for a long time. It was like one of my first podcasts, which makes me happy.
Sweet.
But anyway, they had an episode about Love Island, and oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. But they talked about how it's become like a water cooler show, which is true. Like, there's not really a lot of water cooler shows anymore. And I love that Love Island is that. It's kind of fun.
It's like White Lotus, Love Island.
Yeah. Kind of funny.
Yeah.
Both tropical, I guess.
That's true. That helps, honestly. Yeah, it's funny because, like, I've always really liked Love Island before, like, when it was just a British show too. But it was always one of those ones where people are like, what? Like, what is the deal with that? Like, you know, or like the 3-day-a-week thing was too much for a lot of people. But it's so nice that it's kind of gotten more people hooked. I think it's interesting that the US version is the one that did it. You know, it's like, even though the British one was much better until last year, it definitely is cool that this is the thing that did it. Yeah, this is the one that did it. I also thought that Australia's version was the best because they're so sweet to each other. They're so nice. I love that. Just want some nice. I
actually didn't watch Australia. I did watch the British version for quite a few seasons, but I haven't watched Australia.
Oh, good. I'm glad you saw some British ones. Yeah, there's some good ones in there. But they have a number of people who committed suicide, and that's fucking extremely sad. Just like extremely sad. One of them, Sophie, is like just stunning, and like, not that it matters, but just like, I just was so, I don't know. Watching that season was just so sad because it felt like she was just really depressed, and but yet like really well liked, and I don't know. It's sad.
And I think isn't that one of the reasons, because that season was quite different. I think there were some lawsuits, and I think that's why they have the drinking policy that they do
on Love Island.
Which I think is really good, because honestly, if we're thinking about the mental health of our contestants, like you do not have informed consent when you're drunk to what you are saying and doing in the same way.
Right.
And if you're on TV for the first time, well, I'll speak for myself. What would I do? I'd head right to the bar.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's just it's just a recipe for disaster every time.
Yeah.
So yeah. And didn't one of the hosts die by suicide
yes,
too?
that was so fucking sad. Caroline Flack, poor sweet baby angel.
Ugh.
Yeah, that is so sad. Yeah, there's just been fucking thing after thing. And then there was a guy who died too by suicide. And then there's also, oh no, that's different. That's a different thing. But the other thing I was going to say is that, the other thing to that end is that there was a study that found that when you are around people that you already drink with, your body starts to digest alcohol, like you're endogenous, starts to digest your endogenous alcohol that's already in your body or whatever. So it starts moving because it knows you're going to drink soon. And when you're with people that you don't usually drink with, that doesn't happen. So you get so much drunker. So that's why with your coworkers, you get really drunk at your coworker parties versus like at the same people. You could drink the same amount at a bar with your friends and you don't get drunk, So it's the same thing here. I can imagine therefore being on TV the first time and drinking around people you've never met. Wasted. I think that's always why.
And you're 21.
Yes, just barely illegal. Yeah. Still don't know what your limits are. I don't know what you do that's embarrassing yet until you watch it on TV. And then it also reminds me of the fact that on The Bachelor, there's always one guy. It's particularly guys. There's always one guy who's like wasted the first night. And I feel like it's because they don't realize that the same amount that you drink at home just doesn't work when you're in that setting. You're going to get wasted.
When you're nervous as shit.
And drinking with people you don't drink with. So there's some advice for everybody. And also I feel like it's good. We got the negatives out of the way. Now we can launch into some positive stuff about the show. Well, first let's check in. How are you doing? What's on your heart and mind today, dear Dr. Ray?
Heart and mind. Let me think for a second. I had some friends visit this weekend, and that was lovely. They have a kid, which he is super cute, and he was really sweet to kind of see him grow up. And it's fun to see your friends become parents. And it was also really fun when the kid went to bed and we had a fire and got to sit around and chat. So
fun.
It was a good visit. And yeah.
How old are they? The kiddo?
The kid is, I think, 1.5 years. So
I know. Cute.
So the parents were busy, to say the least.
That too, yeah.
It's I was watching and I was like, yeah, I don't know about this for myself. It just seems like a lot of labor. So I have a lot of respect for all those mamacitas.
All those mamacitas out there. Exactly. Very impressive. So impressive that, Nick might even doubt that you are one because it's such an impressive feat. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
What, of like a dog? Oh,
yeah. Of what?
So
like a dog? Oh my God. So good.
So fun.
Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad. And I love that you got some time also as adult time to be in your adult egos as well, not just parent egos.
It's
great.
That's cool.
Good.
But yeah, what's on your heart and mind this week?
So I was going to try to have something positive too. Well, I guess it is kind of positive, but yesterday was the 12th year since my dad died on the day. So it was, it's always like there's the anniversary effects, but I've realized as time has gone on that it, I always used to say it's not going to get easier. I hate that people say that it gets easier, but it does change. Like it's never going to really fill the hole that a parent leaves if you're close with that parent in particular, but really anyway. But if you're close with them in particular, it never is really going to go away. But at the same time, it does sort of take on a different quality. Like I was realizing just in the last couple of years, not just now, but I felt this way this year too, that now I'm like glad to grieve because it feels like I'm revisiting him and I get to be thinking about him. And even if I'm crying, it's just like a positive thing now, which is really cool. I like that that's taken that sort of shift for me and that can be a little bit less like dreading of the dates that are always so painful. There's a little less painful now. And he wrote each of us in my family a poem for every single Christmas and every single birthday. Talk about secure attachment. I know. So we all have these poems that he wrote each of us, and they were so meaningful because it was like one of his ways of really sharing his emotions about us and his love for us, which is just really sweet. So we always read the poems. One of us, each of us reads one of our poems each anniversary or birthday, one or the other, or both. So yeah, it was really nice. My brother and mom. So yeah,
that's
I think
really special.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it is. It's really sweet. He was a sweet man. So it's nice to be able to think about it again. It is weird that like, he's with me every day in many ways, but like, it really is different to like, than when, back when he first died, that it feels like every day, like really heavy and really sad. So it is nice that it's, a change, but it means that I'm all the more grateful when I do have a chance to think about him more explicitly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you had that time, and sending you lots of love.
Thank you so much.
As you're revisiting your dad this week.
Yeah.
Probably last week and always.
Yeah. And really, like, when the season changes, it's like when you have had a loss, like the anniversary effect really starts back when the season that it happened in starts, like, because it starts to remind you of that. So for me, it's like summer, which is kind of sad because I love summer, but at the same time, it's different now. It's kind of a nice thing to revisit him, but it's also I'm kind of glad it's not like fall or winter, because that'd be like extra depressing in some ways. So in some ways, I'm grateful for that.
True.
But yeah, so the anniversary effect really starts, I think, when the season changes. I will also say, like, it's just like a sick, twisted club for people out there who also have lost a parent. I'm feeling for you as well. And especially when it's like a complicated parent relationship, I know that can be really nuanced and difficult. So yeah. So cheers to all of us who are just making it through with our grief and making the most of each season, even the ones that are anniversaries. And also, thank you for your kindness. That's very sweet. You were very sweet earlier today as well. Thank you. Oh, hearts. I want to do it.
Love.
Oh, y'all, you have to watch our video because you're going to see that. Let me watch mine. I want to do it back.
Look at that shot. I love that it has some twinkles in it. It was a twinkly heart.
Isn't that cute? That's a cute little twinkly heart. That's you.
I love that.
I know, me too. And then there's this one too, right? There's this one.
All the love.
Yes. Look at Zoom up in its game. I love it.
Yes. Thanks, Zoom, for helping us capitalize on the moment.
Yes, exactly. Send a little love beyond just the words. Because that's the thing, right? It's like verbal interaction and communication only covers so much. It's nice to have nonverbal love as well. That's great. Go Zoom for getting the nonverbals going. I also, since we're talking about video, want to add a little, disclaimer, which is that my computer port died. So I still have my computer, but I can't charge it until someone fixes it, or like I actually have it in the mail to be able to fix the port. But in the meantime, I did my video for our video for this week on like online programs and software, and it is in rough shape, but we did it. It's up there, it's posted. So, you'll notice it's completely different than usual. And that is on me because my computer's not working, but we'll have it back soon, hopefully. And then, we'll get cracking. The other thing too is that my car also, the alternator broke while I was out on the highway passing an 18-wheeler effing wheeler right before a huge mountain, like down, decline. I just happened to make it just in time to the rest area. Because if you all know, an alternator is what charges your battery while you're driving. And so my battery just gave out while I was driving. So my power steering went away. Like I couldn't really turn. It just was a little bit horrifying. And it was so hard to get a tow truck because we're in the middle of nowhere. And it was a whole ordeal. But my car is safely home and I just need to get an alternator to replace it. So it's funny because this is twice this year that both of them have gone down at the same time. It's very inconvenient.
Gosh. Ugh.
Rude.
Stop doing that, universe. It's
exactly.
Not nice.
Exactly. And it's funny because like this is like, cosmic and it's in a negative way, but I was just about to say about when we were talking about my dad that whenever there's something that happens like just barely in time or like something just fits together perfectly or like when we put the bureau over there, it like had this much room to make it and it worked or whatever, each of those moments that both my husband and I both go, hi dad, because we were thinking about it as dad helping us out and having our backs in those moments. So I feel like the fact that both of the problems with my computer and car were so cheap, like inexpensive, and both things that we can fix ourselves, it's like that's a hi dad, thank you for helping. If I had to break them both, at least that's how it went. So reframe
that.
Yeah.
Thanks dad. Thanks dad.
Thanks dad. Hi dad. Exactly. Oh yeah. Well, fabulous. Yeah. Speaking of love, shall we dip a toe into the Fiji waters?
I love it. Yes, I very much love it. Let's do it and talk about some highs and lows of Love Island with our award ceremony for the entire season.
Whoop, 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 whoop. And we are therapists, but we are not your therapists. We're not the therapists for the people, like castmates either. Even though we think they're delightful, we don't know enough about them to be able to diagnose them or give any sort of real final word on their psychology or mental health. But we might talk about sort of some things that might be adjacent or just that we can think of as maybe being helpful in terms of what they're going through. And maybe you can relate to that too. So, but no, we are not anybody's therapist. And I will also say that you're going to notice, if you have not heard us before doing our awards, that in each of the awards, the titles all have the word test in them because this is reality test after all. So check it out. Stay with us for these 8 awards. You're going to like what you find. I have a little surprise at the end too. So stick it out. We'll see you. We'll see you soon. We're not going anywhere. Okay. Fabulous. So first and foremost, dear Dr. Ray, the first award is Protest This Mess. So this is the meanest, saddest, drunkest, most obnoxious moment or castmate from the whole season of season 7 of Love Island. Whose mess did you protest?
So I see online that this person is getting defended. I have to say that the whole Chris Huda thing was tough to watch. At least the way it was edited, the contempt is one of the surefire signs that a relationship is going down the tubes.
Headed towards divorce.
The contempt that he had for her was off the charts. And it was so weird to me that he was like, you don't want to be with me anymore. But he didn't want to be with her either. No. It was very like relationally confusing to me, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was hard to kind of track what was going on there. I also feel sorry for him. And while I'm just hypothesizing here, like I would imagine as a Black man being on reality TV, you probably have to navigate emotionality in a different way, especially with a light-skinned woman. So I have empathy for that. And it was hard to watch the way that he interacted with Huda because he clearly didn't like her and clearly needed to just end it. But I don't know, maybe he was pressured by producers, or I don't know what the heck happened. But it was like it turned, he clearly didn't like her anymore. And he was mean to her, in my opinion, and it bummed me out. She is not blameless. I am not saying that. It's just, especially the last moment where he was like, I'm not carrying you, but he was also like, it's fine. I'm like, what is happening here? I loved how she like had more champagne. That was funny to me, but
especially because of the alcohol rule, right? Like they can't have alcohol unless they're like on dates or something, right? Because we don't really see them have it. Normally.
It seems like it. And that was funny.
Yeah.
And also just the way he talked about her with the other men had this kind of like, women are crazy kind of vibe to it that I didn't love. So
I felt like that was part of it. What the sexism you're talking about. No, sorry. I just wanted to agree with you about the sexism you were talking about. I felt like that happened a lot. Like we saw the Ace and whatever talking about Alandria because they saw Taylor working it out with Clark. It's like, no, don't do the like, oh, his ex-girlfriend's got nothing on her or whatever. He looks so much happier now or whatever. It's like gross.
Yeah. Fuck off. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't interrupt though. Yeah.
But yeah, that is the mess I'm protesting. And by the way, I think Chris is probably like a lovely person who was on reality TV for the first time and was navigating a lot of tricky dynamics. I'm just saying it was hard for me to watch personally.
Yeah. No, I'm with that. He definitely, I think he has some good traits. And I also think he's more avoidant in terms of attachment style. So I think that's why he wasn't going to be the one to break up. Like he wanted it to be on her. I think also he was low-key hoping that if they stayed together that they'd have a chance of winning, right? Like he knows that fans liked Huda. So he had to have wondered if they stayed together, could they win? He didn't want to be the reason that they didn't get the money if they broke up, I think personally, because that's what that risk. It's like, do you just stick it out even though you know you're not going to be together after? But I totally agree that the way he said that, where he was like, I have a feeling what you're going to say, so I'm just waiting for you to say it. It's like, just like now you're telling her she should say it, it's like, I feel like she might not have said it if he hadn't said that. I totally agree. He just sort of was like, starting it really what he wanted, but didn't want to be the one to say it. But yeah, that was rough. I agree. Like she's getting all of the heat, but like he totally contributed too. It's a two-way street, and they both were seemingly unhappy. I have to agree that like her pushing sex when she wouldn't want to kiss was tough. Yeah. And I think it's also like so understandable. Like I think for her, right, like she's learned that one of the ways to get attention from guys is to be sexual and intimate with them. One way of being intimate, even like on a loving way, is to be sexual first. It's like to get to intimacy through sex. And I also think that it's like, therefore, that's become one of the things that she sees as like a necessary part of the relationship to know that they're okay. And so I think it might have been more of a relational thing than a sexual thing anyway. But
absolutely.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough to watch. I feel for her in major ways. I also felt for him.
Please.
Sorry. No, you do that.
I was going to say, it's no accident, in my opinion, that she seemed to have sex both with Jeremiah, maybe not Chris, but I'm pretty sure Jeremiah, when there were uncertainties in the relationship. That seems to be a way that she tries to take back control.
Exactly.
And I don't know if her and Chris started that way, but it definitely got there. And I think we saw it that night where she kept tapping him.
Yeah. No, it definitely is a way of like solving things so that she knows they're on good footing. Like she thinks of that as like the strategy for, like you said, getting back control, and also for knowing that they're okay. And yeah, that's rough. That was rough. So yikes. I also didn't really fully understand why she didn't want them to see her kissing. Like, was it that she thought that they were going to see, because they had a big thing about how she moved too fast. Like she and Jeremiah moved too fast. So do you think that was why she didn't want to be seen kissing Chris?
I do. And I also understand his perspective.
Yeah.
Being like, what are you ashamed of me?
Yeah.
And I could see that from his perspective, feeling like racialized in some way. I don't know for sure, but that felt tricky too.
Yeah.
And like, I kind of understood where she was coming from. Maybe the producers were telling her to like slow down. I don't know, but I can totally understand where he was coming from, where he was like, what the fuck? Like,
oh no, I totally agreed with him. It's like, you can have sex with me in private, but you can't kiss me in front of people. Like you see me as right. Like the racialized part is like, I'm an animal, like I'm a sexual animal to you, not like a, significant other or equal. Yeah, I totally agree. I felt like that was rough. I didn't really like that or understand it. But then I was thinking about it because she said at one point, I'm going slow this time. And so I think that it was like Ace and them were telling her. They were the ones telling her to slow down because they were saying that it went too fast with Jeremiah. And she probably liked that they were like blaming Jeremiah instead of her, because they kept saying that about him too. Like he was going too fast. So she had to prove that it wasn't her too, So
that was a way for her to get back power kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, just to show them that she's not like that, so that hopefully they'll respect her more. But yeah, that was tough. And their dynamic. Yeah. Good mess to protest. Yeah. Not fair that we're just going right after her. And there's a lot of that, like going after the women. I will say that I have a both and here. So the mess that I'm protesting is, I'm just trying to remember if I told you the thing that I was going to say at that moment and then I forgot. I don't know. We'll find out because it'll come back up or not. Okay. So the mess that I'm protesting is actually about Ace and his quote unquote strong leadership that led to really like shitty treatment of Shelly, Jeremiah, Huda, Amaya, and Austin. I felt like all 5 of those got some real bad treatment from him. And that was tough to watch. Each time it was tough to watch. And each time it was like, I don't know, under the guise of like being caring in a lot of those ways. And then obviously not with Austin, he didn't give a fuck, but sometimes I just was like, what are you like, that's, yeah. And then Amaya, like, oh God, it was so sad. So I don't know. I really felt like it was, he was controlling and he was sure of his own opinion way more than anyone else. Like he didn't have any room for movement, which I thought it was good that Austin brought that up. Like there was no changing his mind or like bending or anything. And that's not a real good leader. That's not a good leader. Might be a strong leader of sorts, but it's not a good one. So I found that to be something I protested. I will add, though, however, as a small caveat, that I saw this video of him teaching young kids who are autistic how to dance on like Zoom. It was really sweet. I was like, oh my God, cute. And I imagine that like during COVID, you have to do what you can to make money off of dancing. And so I imagine it was like one of those things that he was doing to like keep his business going during COVID. But he did a great job. And I thought it was really sweet with the kids. So I just was like, I'm glad to see that side of him,
Mm-hmm.
So
absolutely.
I will add that nice thing about him too.
Mm-hmm. Strengths and growth edges for sure. But rough.
Strengths and challenges.
Rough.
Yeah.
Well, who do you think was doing the MosTEST this week? So this is the most cringe or embarrassing moment.
I felt like Nick had quite a few sort of like, ugh, like I just was like, don't look moments for me. One of them I named last time about how when Sierra said, "Oh, are you saying that I'm the girl of your dreams?" He was like, like he just didn't pick it up. I just was like, oh, that's so awkward to watch. Like you're just like low hanging fruit that you were rejecting out of hand. So those kind of moments, I just was sort of like, and then even the Mamacita thing was a little cringe, but in a fun way. I liked that one, but it was a really good one, but it was cringe. So I think probably Nick would get it for me. The other one that I had thought about was Austin because of his like sort of clowning around and his voice. The fact he's a Trumper is also very cringe for me. So he was a second for me, but I think probably Nick gets my number one. Actually, you know what? F all of that. It's Taylor. What am I thinking? Taylor gets my number one because the way that he says things to people like, "Oh, nobody likes you," like trying to be funny, like in a weird, trying to be flirty even in like a weird mean way is so underaged, like very young child thing to do. And I felt like there were a number of times where I was like, what do you want? Like it's hard. I think he doesn't even know what he wants in life. He's just following along. Even in the, last thing, but even in the kissing challenge where they were secretly kissing people, they don't know who they're kissing and they had to give give a number out of 10 or whatever. He basically did the exact same thing that Ace did for every single girl. Like he even started saying like, I'm going to follow Ace on this one or da-da-da-da. But every time Ace said like 8, he would say like 7.8. You know, he would go like point something away from what Ace's scores were. And I was like, I think he just doesn't know. He like doesn't know his own opinion about things. That's why he needs someone like Ace to lead him.
He's just like a kid. Yeah. He struck me as the kid in high school who was like blown up by his boys. Have I given this take before? But like made to feel that he's much hotter or more interesting than maybe he actually is because his guy friends are like gassing him up, but he's kind of just like a mediocre dude. That's my take on Taylor.
Yeah, that's a good take. He definitely has that vibe. And I think he's continuing to get that like from Ace and, you know, Nick. And I think that was the other thing that was cringe about Nick is that he started out following Jeremiah and then quick pivoted to following Ace. And that just makes me feel a little cringy because Ace is like, he's easy to follow as a leader because he's so cocky and like assured. He's so sure of himself. But like people like Jeremiah are the ones you really want to follow because he's much more humble and like has a big heart and knows that he might be wrong about stuff and is able to acknowledge that, which is way harder to find in a leader. And it's a lot more meaningful in terms of being able to really trust them and also being able to learn for yourself because no one should be like sure of themselves all the time. No one's right all the time. So we need to learn from someone else the casual, like comfortable way of admitting when we're wrong. That's a harder skill to learn.
Absolutely. Very well said.
Thank you so much.
Jeremiah's, I think I felt that I don't know. I think he's gotten put in this like place where he's like seen as the good guy. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure about him. I think because I watched the beginning and then saw where it went and I like binged it, I was like, he's kind of really playing into this dynamic with Huda. And it was hard for me to watch him at times in that. And I think he was done dirty by the show. And I think
by the men in particular. Yeah.
Ace had a bone to pick for him and it just kind of sucked to watch.
Yeah. To be clear, like I think with his friendships with men, he's the one to follow. Like he in his friendships with men was very like good, kind, like open and, you know, like trusting and like funny. So I think as far as like his guy friendships go, I would trust him over Ace. But yeah, with Huda, I think, right, like some of his like his own relational dynamics were playing out with her in a way that wasn't great, and same for her. I do think you might have missed some, like he had some very tender moments where he really did seem to be genuinely interested in her and
okay.
Yeah, and I think, but that was quick. It was like 1 or 2 episodes of him like that, and then it went quickly down the drain. But I think mostly it started with her. Like they actually were both doing really well and both like loving in major ways, and then she started getting really sort of like just bossy. And telling him that she had assumed he was going to do better today and and then that was just when everyone was like,
oh yeah,
and then he got way worse.
And the pancakes, and,
pancake gate
and then
number
he
one.
Was trying to like recalibrate, and it's probably hard when you're in a new environment too, and you're like meeting people, and she seems really cool, and you're really connecting. Like that's a hard situation to be in.
I think I would attach quickly, to be honest. I think that's like kind of my style too, which is it's questionable, but I mean, I think maybe I wouldn't. I guess I would try not to. I would try not to. But I do think that they both genuinely felt it. I don't think they were doing it for the game, and I think that's why Ace's reaction to it was so stark, like it stood out so much, is because like it was so clear he was thinking about it for the game, and I didn't think that about them. I felt like they genuinely, and I think he probably knew that because that made them more of a threat for him.
Absolutely.
But tell me who.
That's a very good one.
Well, thank you so much. Tell me who you cringed at.
I cringed at all of the men who were kissing Amaya's ass after it was clear that America liked her.
Yes.
It's just, I think it highlighted how this show is really like an influencer playground. Mm-hmm. And I think we talked about this last time. It's becoming more and more that way. Mm-hmm. But for me, I was like, damn, this is just highlighting to me. I'm forgetting his name now. But he was like, after like pretty much putting Amaya on blast, was like, oh, I really want to see where this could go. And it was just so, Zach. It was so obvious and cringe. Mm-hmm. And Brian, I felt different about. I don't know if they are a fit. I don't know why I feel that way. I think that they are different people. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, I didn't see Kenny and Janae as a fit, and I still don't. Mm-hmm. However, America loves Janae, and I'm kind of convinced that Kenny is hanging on for that reason, but maybe doesn't actually like her. And that's a shame because she deserves someone really great who puts her first, and I do not think Kenny would. I think Brian's a good guy, and I really like him. Mm-hmm. I just wonder if they're different people. And I don't know why I feel that way, but I might be very wrong. And I would be very happy to be proven wrong on that.
I think it was so sweet that he stood up for her that time. Like, thank God he did, because someone had to. And the whole thing about the Hispanic differences, he still never even brought up the fact that they're also more emotional. I mean, it's obvious, and I think that came up in other ways, but he never defended her that way. And people just kept shitting on her for crying. So that's crazy. Or wild, I should say. But the other thing I was going to say, to your point, is that I think they're really cute together. I like the way he at least is able to be cute with her. But I will say, I totally know what you're saying, because from the beginning, I felt like he's actually a little bit low-key annoyed by her, like just a little bit annoyed. And you can see it in his face, and you can see it some comments he makes, but he does like hold it back really well most of the time. Like it got less obvious with the episodes that went by, but he definitely is too mature for her, I think. I think he's just...
I think that's what it is. Yeah. I think they're just kind of on different pages. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if he's going to stay with her, and then it's going to be a similar situation to Kenny
and Janae
a year from now. Mm-hmm. It's an interesting kind of case study in like what this show, the parasocial nature of this show, and what being liked does to a dynamic. It's kind of fascinating.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes. You know, I've always felt that way about like girls and like in very heteronormative way. But actually, I wonder if it's true with girls too. I just haven't noticed it the same way. But I've noticed that like when you and like there's multiple girls in a scenario and a guy, and that when you find out that like multiple girls like that guy, he becomes much more attractive. Like just much more. Like you might not even have thought about him as attractive until you find out other people do, and then you're like, oh, okay. Like it changes the whole deal. Mm-hmm. And that's just in terms of like a microcosm, like in you and just your friendship group. And I think that happens immensely. So I can imagine the same thing happening with the bigger scale too.
I think so. I think that's that happens on Love Island too. Like whenever someone new comes in and other people are interested, it makes everyone else more interested for the most part. Yeah. It's just time. Like this. Yeah. It's like attraction is such a funny thing, and how we measure attraction.
It truly is. And I wonder if Chris saying like, oh, she's fine, that one day when they were working out made Brian sort of have a double take on Amaya too.
Yeah, it could be. Good for Amaya, though. I hope they work out. I really do. I like them together, and it was great TV, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they do well. And honestly, who cares? At least they won, and at least she shared it. That's nice for him. And I fucking love her too. She's a delight. So
she is. She's so genuine. And
wait, did she share it or he shared it? He shared it, right? He shared the money, or did she?
I think he did.
Yeah. Right? I'm glad he fucking better have too. If he did, woohoo. I bet people would have lost their minds on him if he hadn't shared it. But yeah, he did share it. And good boy. That's good. Good for him.
because he would have, like, he didn't win that money. She won that money. Like, she should get all that money because her likability got them the win. It had nothing to do with him. I mean, I guess the way he stood up for her was that rom-com moment that people like held on to, but I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it was sort of, I should probably close my doors. I'm hearing the wind and my wind chimes going off here. Yeah, no, I think it was a rom-com moment that we all kind of needed for her in particular, because it was just so disturbing to watch her getting ganged up on like that. I couldn't handle it, especially by like when there just was no need for them each to keep adding on like that. Get the fuck out of here. Honestly, that's like a big one. I didn't even include that in here, but that was one of those moments I really was like, what the fuck? Like the way they treated her in that one challenge about like airing dirty laundry. That was a really like loser moment for so many of those guys. I'm so glad that Brian at least said something. Yeah,
they showed their true colors.
Truly. Yeah. So what about testing? 1, 2, 3. This is the best or worst production ad or antic.
Okay. I hated the spin on the Chris and Huda stuff, where at the end it was like, oh, we're just fine and we're just friends. It felt like confusing because it's like, y'all don't like each other, like at this point, and have like harmed each other and are clearly mad. And it was just like these very sweet, heartfelt letters. And I felt very confused by it.
Yeah.
They were nice, but it just did the whole, like, that was a bad breakup in my opinion. So then a day later to flip around and do that just felt kind of whiplashy to me.
Inauthentic.
And it was it felt like producers were involved in how that played out one way or another.
Yeah. It was definitely inauthentic. I also wonder if it was like Chris realizing like what a dick he was when they were like, when he wouldn't carry her, and like, so maybe he was like backpedaling, because especially knowing that America likes her, I could see him not wanting to land on that note. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense actually about why he kind of doubled back on it, sort of thing.
Yeah, because remember when he was like, this was another interesting thing. This is what I was going to bring up earlier. Yes, we got back there. Was that, remember when his mom and sister came and he was expecting them to like shit on him? He's like, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? And they were like, nothing. We love it. He's like, are you serious? What's going on? What do you mean? And so I think he's like used to having like a pretty critical home life. And so I get the sense that his criticalness, like criticism of her and contempt, probably comes from the dynamic that he's used to at home. Yeah.
That's a good call. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Damn.
Yeah. So I think he also, therefore, like when he wakes up is like, I don't need to do that. Like, why am I doing that? You know, it's like, I don't need to be that rude or whatever. Or he's thinking like, oh no, what's mom going to say that I did that? Maybe that's what he realizes too, is like, I'm going to get criticism for doing that.
And then that wasn't, and then because they liked Huda and thought they were good together, he was like, shit, oops.
Back it up. Back it up.
Yeah.
All right, good one though. I like that point because it's true. They sort of like rewrote history with that. I think they really were trying to build up Huda in general because they knew how much fans liked her too. So I hear you there either way. They really were happy to make her look good for sure. My testing 1, 2, 3 was I have just the most disappointment ever in Love Island for their major problems with not catching racial slurs on public social media platforms. The actual fuck. Because every time that The Bachelor has failed at that, and they have failed over and over and over and over again in ways that it's just like baffling. How have you not done better? Tell me how you have not done better. Hire a fucking 20-year-old to go on there and look for you. They will do better than you will. You don't have to pay them much. They're just be happy to do it. Just fucking do it. But here, the one thing that always comes up in those conversations is Love Island does it. Love Island has had it year after year after year and no problems. Love Island has always had no problems. All 3 countries have just nailed it. No problems. So they're doing something right. Why can't The Bachelor learn from them? Boom. No longer. They lost their record, their clean record here terribly. They fell on their faces in a major way because both of those people but first of all, like Yulissa was right away. So how do they not find that right away? That's effing wild. I don't get it. But then Sierra was like one of the absolute fan favorites. And so the fact that could get by them and then she could become a fan favorite and then we could all be disappointed like that. And granted, it's actually like a good lesson in terms of like cancel culture that like we should be holding both. Like she's still a wonderful, fun, loving person, and then also had some learning to do, you know, and you can hold both, and that's a good thing for us to learn to do as fans. But it just still was like such a disappointment that the producers couldn't do better. What's up? What's up with that? Do better.
Abso-freaking-lutely. That's such a good point. And it's a shame to see how bad Love Island did that this season, and how abysmal Bachelor has been on that historically. It's kind of mind blowing, honestly.
Yes. It is the thing that makes you wonder if it's purposeful, and that's so frustrating.
Yeah.
And they don't even really come out and say that it's not. Like, honestly, I haven't heard like very well polished like explanations, ever. So I don't know. I hope it's accidental, but like, how can it be accidental that many times? How have they never hired someone to do better at it? How?
Right.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
Mm-mm.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good at all.
Nope.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
You're fine. You're totally fine.
So what about test results? Who is holding castmates accountable, reading their results after being tested, or who has shown the most or least growth?
I would say I had one in each direction. I think the most grown I would give to Ariana, who really seemed to be even more confident and comfortable than last year, even a little bit snarky, both on camera and on social media. So I was here for that. I think she looks, she looks great. I think she's growing in important ways and also not becoming cocky, as far as I can tell. I mean, who knows? She might be like God now. Who knows? But then my least grown is fans. The fucking fans. What's going on, fans? Let's grow up, please. Like, this treatment of people is fucked up. Like, calling ICE on Sierra's family out of control racist. Why would you do that if you're fighting racism? Making some of these comments about any of them, about Huda, about Jeremiah, about Ace, like any of these. This is not the level it needs to get to for us to have a constructive conversation that leads to progress and growth. This is not that. This is very much shaming and stunting growth. And I think it shows the stunted growth of fans too. And it's really disappointing. I think nobody should ever have any reason to tell someone to kill themselves. Literally not one on this planet.
Mm-mm.
Really, maybe this was an exception if like someone raped, it's like in some cases, maybe, but like, that's still not something you're going to rate someone on social media that you've never met. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. So I'm having just a hard time with like really fathoming or stomaching how awful fans have been. And so much so that like Ariana had to say something about it twice, like they had to have a like title card at one point. So it's just disappointing. I think that we can all do better and protect ourselves, protect each other, protect the stars who are putting themselves out there for us. And in general, like have a better society where we don't tell each other to kill ourselves. Someone might do it and then you'll never even probably know, but then also hopefully you'd feel guilty. Maybe you wouldn't, depending on your, clinical presentation. But ideally, all of us, anybody, would feel super effing guilty if someone did something based on you saying that. So don't even risk it. Don't risk that kind of a thing. And don't risk it at the sake of someone else dying. Like, why would you want that?
No, that should not be your goal.
No.
And frankly, if you're saying that to other people, I implore you, and I'm saying this from a place of compassion, to look at your own mental health, because I think your frustration is displaced.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Because these people don't deserve it. They're not. Yeah. They've done nothing to you personally. So it probably means something on a personal level is getting worked out through your anger towards them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How about yours? Whose test results did you read today? Positive or negs?
Okay, so I'm going to say Ace.
Okay.
And I feel that Ace had very little to no growth. The reason I think this is because Amaya very kindly apologized to him at the end of their interaction together. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Oh, it's okay." He didn't really take responsibility for what he did at all, which to me was so frustrating.
So bad.
It made me instantly furious because I would say what he did is so much more abysmal than
wildly more
what she did.
Yeah, she called you babe a couple times. Like, get over it.
Right. And it's just, it felt to me that he maybe has I feel that for him, he could really step into his power in a wonderful way. But I think part of that is being willing to recognize when he's maybe made a mistake.
Exactly.
Because he does inspire people. He does seem to be a good leader. He just is 22, I think. Yeah. That is my take on the situation.
Yeah. And a dude.
He's 20. Yeah. And a dude who is a talented dancer and kind of good looking or whatever. Yeah. But it just was such a bummer to me to see that. And I just felt really bad for Maya because she was putting herself out there, and then to get that in response really ticked me off.
Yeah. No, that was so frustrating. And I definitely feel like there was the low-hanging fruit again. That was low-hanging fruit. Easy to just say, I'm sorry back. Like, really, honestly,
Right.
just give us something here. But nope, that's exactly it. He's like a stalwart leader where he just like is always right. There's no reason to say you're wrong. No reason to say I don't know. No reason to say I'm sorry because you're always right. And that's just like not the style of leader that we all want. That's a Trump. That's what Trump does. So like we want the kind of leaders that are able to like take ownership, apologize, take accountability, and then also like help us all heal through doing that. You know, it's a big role if you're going to be a leader of any kind, or you know, even like a public facing figure. Then your role becomes much more important in terms of healing other people who, again, like have their own shit that they're working out through you. Like, it's not fair that they do that, but they do. So if you're going to be that person, and you have to be willing also to like have it be something that is going to help correct some of the ways that we've been trained in this world. Like, and then show us what it looks like for a leader to be compassionate, empathetic, kind, apologetic, loving, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Human, humble, all
Human.
the things.
Oh, love it. Yeah, exactly. So I'm with you. That was a good one. That is so true. Come on, Ace. Come on, dude. And actually, that relates nicely to this next one because he's also a testosterone motherfucker. Testosterone. Exactly. So this next award is my favorite, testosterone, which is the most patriarchal, white supremacist, heterosexist, or sexist award given to somebody whose testosterone boned them by making them make a mistake in some way that is testosterone fueled. So like a patriarchal moment. But it was originally just patriarchal, but we had so many awards, we had to squish them together. So now it's also white supremacist, misogynist, and or heterosexist. So give it to me, baby.
Yes. So I have two, and both show like different sides of Huda. So the treatment of Huda following the challenge, where she was maybe a little too sexy. It sounds like maybe she sat on Ace's face. I don't actually know what happened.
Yeah.
But it felt slut shamey. And I think, and again, I don't know how Shelley felt or what was going on for her. I think I wish she would have maybe considered where Huda was coming from a little more, which you have so beautifully pointed out, Dr. K, is like we are taught from a young age to value men and men's approval. And also the challenges are supposed to be entertaining and sexy, and she's sexy. So it's like, it's just kind of a mind fuck. And I wish people would have had more grace for her because lots of people were sexy in challenges. So I don't know. She probably just wanted to have her like show stopping moment and probably took it in a way that was rough for people. But could that be one conversation instead of multiple days of relational punishment?
Oh my God.
I think so.
Yes.
Like I think it should have, because obviously, as you said before, like Shelley is in an up power position, or was, and could have extended her grace. And I think that would have been nice. And I think that everyone could have done a better job with that. So
me too. Yeah.
My second is a flip side of Huda, which I'm pretty sure I might be misremembering this, but I'm pretty sure she said aggressive or something aggressive adjacent about Taylor, which don't say that about a black man. Don't do it.
Nope.
Just
no, ma'am.
So, yeah. So I think that one speaks for itself, and I don't remember it very well, so I might be wrong. But I think it was right before Taylor asked, oh gosh, what is her name? Clark, thank you, to be his exclusive person. I almost said girlfriend, but I don't think that's what they did.
That's right before he asked her to go exclusive. Okay.
Yes.
I believe it. Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I believe it just because we also know she said that about Chris behind his back too, but like was like called him brother, and you know I felt in an inappropriate way behind his back when she was complaining about him. So I do think she has like a little bit of a like, you know, like questionable fuzzy edges understanding of some of the language things that are important. And great, like we're also talking about how she's young enough in her learning that she also doesn't really understand how to be a girl's girl yet. So it makes sense she'd also be learning about the nuances of racism too. So. Very good. Thank you so much. Great examples. I'm glad you caught that too, because that's really just distressing. My testosterone award, I have a 3-prong, so I'm with you there. There were too many moments. One was Ace in a specific conversation with Shelley where he preempted what she might be upset with him about and said like, well, I know you think that I was enjoying it with Huda, but I just was looking like I enjoyed it because it's part of the challenge. But what you did was a really big problem because what you did was you went back to Chris and just the wildness of that. It just was so manipulative, so practiced, so prepared. I just was like, this is something he does with women. And I know he hasn't had many girlfriends or any girlfriends perhaps, but he does it with his mom or sister, whatever. He does this. This is a thing he is practiced at. And I just didn't like it. Obviously, it's just fucked. Like what? Okay, so what could he have done instead? Right? I'll be productive about it. I would say that instead, what he could have done was come to her and say, "Hey, wondering if you're also upset with me. I noticed we haven't been talking either. I know you're probably upset with Huda, but are you also upset with me? I know that probably looked like I was enjoying it. I'm not really sure exactly what happened there. I think it was also because it was a challenge, but I'm so sorry if that hurt you. Can we talk more about it?" And then if you got through into that conversation and you're digging deep, then you could make the choice. Do I also bring up the fact she went back to Chris? But not in a way that is purposely retaliatory. Like them being like, well, you did this with Chris. Like, that's just not going to be productive. You're not going to get anywhere with it. It's just going to cause a fight and it doesn't get you what you want, which is, getting your needs met in the future, having it not happen again or whatever, finding out why she did it or blah, blah. So yeah, that's that. Number 2 was on the flip of the opposite of the sort of testosterone was Brian when he was supportive of Amaya's emotionality, in part due to its cultural influence. And then their relationship when their families visited was just like out of control. And I just loved it so much. And I felt like that was such a good antidote to Ace's total testosterone energy. Just seeing like Brian cry and just the way that they were together was just so sweet. Their families were so sweet. They loved each other right away. Oh my God, I loved it.
Oh,
so that was my like antidote that I wanted to bring in because it's not Bechdel test, but it's worth mentioning in this moment. And then the third one, which is also very testosterone-y, was the women themselves not being girls in the ways that they called out Huda for not being a girl. Like it felt very right, like hypocritical. Like you're calling her out for not being a girl, but the way you're calling her out is so rude. Like there's so many better ways to do this. And I think even what Alondria did that night, where she called out Huda kissing Chris, like that was so fucking out of pocket. Like that is not the way to do that. And I think she knew it. So she apologized. But I think Alondria was one of the closer ones to being a girl's girl. She definitely did better most of the time. But that moment was a real loss for me. I just was like, wow. So really none of you are girls if we're really drilling down. I think the closest one was Amaya.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think Amaya tried her best.
Yeah.
I think she was a little rough on Shelley with the Ace thing and a little blamey, but I think she recovered from that. And I really thought early on
that night. Oh my God, the time she called her out in the dressing room, that was so wild. Yeah. And it wasn't even really a conversation.
Like, Amaya, what are you doing?
Yeah. She just was like having out her feelings. That was a wild one. I also think she was close with Alondria for like getting Zach and almost sending Alondria home and then being like, oh, I didn't mean to. That was sort of like, but
it was like, you knew what
you had to know
what that was going to do.
Yeah. But at least she told her right away.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. No, that's a good one. That is a good one indeed. Well, to kind of cleanse ourselves from that testosterone energy, what is your Bechdel test? So this is the most feminist, anti-racist, or gay moment.
Mm-hmm. So I had a kind of like a duo here, which is that I just brought up Amaya. I think she was a good girl in general. I do think you have a great point about her conversation, quote unquote, conversation with Shelley. Also the thing where she swiped Zach from Melandria. But I will say, especially when compared to Huda, either not telling the other person that she was going to steal their man or not telling them until much later, at least Amaya told her right away and the same day that she talked to Zach. Otherwise, it seemed like what I liked about Amaya was that she didn't seem to like pick sides. Like I felt like she was friends with everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody really liked her. And then she seemed to like give good advice and that she wasn't like rude to, even when Huda had like the wildest requests for advice, I felt like Amaya really did a good job hanging with it and being really authentic and sweet. So I really, and she was sweet without giving false like news or affirmations. Like she didn't give like fake. She wasn't like, oh, you're fine, Huda, everyone likes you. Like, she didn't do that. And I really liked the way that she handled that with being sweet without being fake. But, however, my real Bechdel test is a tied trophy between Ariana and Meg Thee Stallion. They get my big Bechdel test awards for building up the women, in particular, shamelessly, and without seemingly doing so apologetically or under pressure to do the same for the men. It didn't seem like it. It didn't seem like they felt like they had to be equal with the men about it. And I was like, hell yeah, this is what we need. Some good feminist energy. Bring it on. Give it to us now, because we've always had to see the same for the men. It's like always has to be the same, equitable. It's like for once we should have some just feminist energy in the space. And I loved it. I was with it. They both did a great job with it, and I liked them both all the more for it.
I love it so much. Yes, that one might come up again.
Oh, good.
But yes, absolutely. Meg Thee Stallion and Ariana were so great with the women this season. And it was needed because the women took a lot of heat, frankly.
Truly. Yes. How about you?
So I will say the most anti-racist thing about this show that I love is how racially diverse the cast is in like a seamless way. And actually, white people tend to be voted out in a way that makes it's like the flip of The Bachelor, which I really like to see. I feel like this, and I feel like interestingly, it's a better show, or maybe not that interestingly. Like The Bachelor, even Bachelor in Paradise right now, watching that after Love Island, I'm like, damn, this is really white, or it feels really white.
Yeah, it's a couple people.
And the people on Bachelor in Paradise feel like people who are trying to be perfect. Where the people on Love Island, I think, are more authentic and just enjoyable to watch. And I don't know what that says about white supremacist culture, but maybe it says something, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, exceptionalism, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that.
That was a pleasure. And also the Meg Thee Stallion visit, the way she built up the women, I was obsessed. I loved it so much.
God damn, what a delight. What a fucking delight. She was a joy and a treasure. And I just enjoyed the fuck out of it. I'm so grateful for that. You're so right. The fact that it's racially diverse is such a gift. Like, it is so much better of a show. And I also agree that Bachelor in Paradise and Bachelor in general, everyone's worried about being perfect and their image, whereas in Love Island, people are worried about being themselves. They just want to be themselves. I will say there was a little bit of like image policing in this season in particular. I actually felt like more than ever, because I felt like a little bit from Ace and a little bit of, but that's rare. Usually it's not like that, which I really appreciate. So good idea. What about they were the worst test of friends? They were the best test of friends. Worst and best friendship or relationship.
Hear me out.
Okay.
So I'm a Nick and Andrea stan. I really like that duo. I'm actually worried about them because the way that Nick was kind of backpedaling at the end, he was like, I've enjoyed the journey, not the destination. And then he said, like, who knows where and I was like, damn, are you the kind of person who once someone likes you, you kind of back? It felt like that sort of thing. And maybe
or just wanted to get to the end.
Both Sierra and Elandria. What I do like about their relationship is that they do seem to be friends and have mutual respect for each other. So I loved seeing that grow. I am now not, but actually, here's the thing. I think it's the same thing as Amaya. Like, maybe now Nick will stick with Elandria, but I'm not sure it's going to be because he actually likes her.
Right.
Like, it seems like he likes a challenge, and it seems like he has some weird stuff with his dad. So it's possible that he like seeks approval of seemingly distant figures, and once he gets it, he gets bored. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass.
No, I'm with that. I totally agree. Yeah. I feel like that's what happened with Jeremiah. So then he moved on to Ace, and once he got Ace's approval, which he never really got Ace's approval. So he got to keep kind of hoping for it, dreaming for it, pushing for it. But he did pull back a little bit from Ace towards the end. Like in, for example, disagreeing with him about Amaya and the treatment of Amaya and stuff. Like, I do think he started to disagree a little bit at the end, but not to his face, not to Ace. But I agree. I think Elandria this whole time had power, and he found that attractive. And so then when they leave, if she's no longer in that sort of power position and he doesn't get to see how much she's like loved by the fans or loved by the housemates, he might very well back up. Yeah. And he might have also been doing it just to get to the end, which is what concern I had from the beginning, is like, he knows that she's popular. He knows he had more of a chance of winning if he got to the end with her.
Absolutely.
Hope not.
Oof. I know. I hope not too, because I really do like them together. And the last episode was making me nervous and sad. But...
I know. Sketchy, Nicholas. My worst test of friends. Well, so mine were. I did a best test of friends as well, and I did Shelley and Elandria, who seemed like they were truly friends, and I really liked that. Yeah. And I felt like they also, so like they did such a good job just like checking in with each other. But they were very casual about it, and they weren't like pushing it in people's faces. They weren't like, "Oh, we're the two best friends," or like, like I felt like they did a really good job just like having their friendship, but like also being friends with everyone, and not making people feel like, "Oh, we're not as good as those two friends as those two are," or whatever. Which is a real talent and gift, to the whole group. So I really liked the way they did that.
I loved that too. I think that's whenever someone is too pushy about their friendship, I'm kind of like, why are you, what are you trying to show? It's kind of, I feel like we do that very well. We had we don't feel the need to be like, we're really close.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I like
exactly.
that about our friendship.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Same. Yeah, it's so true. Very much the same. A lot of people don't know that we're so close. It's funny.
Because we don't want to make people feel weird about it. I don't know. That's how I feel. I don't want to be like, I'm really close with these two people or whatever. It's just, I don't know. I think it changes the dynamic and can get mean girly, but I don't know.
Yeah, we don't need cliques. No need for that business. I really am close with pretty much everyone, especially now that there's been some moving and grooving around a little bit. Even then though, I've really been close with everyone forever in the faculty because I was a student there too first. So it's been really nice. But I do therefore feel like a lot of people feel that way too. It's like we're all friends with each other. We don't need to, have our besties or whatever.
So the last one is the one that I always remember. It is testimonial. So this is the best confessional or straight to camera moment.
Okay, actually, you know what? This is my surprise. So you do yours first and then I'll go. I'll go last.
Mine's easy. It's the one I brought up before. And because I'm bad at this one was easy because it was memorable to me. Meg Thee Stallion's testimonial, I was obsessed with. It was so fun. It made me so happy. She danced. She was having a blast. She was talking about the Islanders. It was just so sweet. And I was obsessed with it.
It was so good. It was so good. She was so cute. And then she went and twerked behind the couch. Obsessed. Yeah, she by far wins for the whole season for the testimonial. That's by far and away. I'm with you 100%. Okay. I have a surprise for you. Are you ready?
Okay, I have a secret to tell you.
Can you hear it?
All the girls know, Jeremiah knows, but you have to promise me you're not going to say anything to any of the other guys because it's not their business. But I'm a mommy.
Mommy?
I'm a mom.
Mamacita.
No, I'm a mommy.
Mom of what? A dog?
I have a daughter.
Like in real life?
Yeah.
Like a daughter, like a little baby?
Yeah, like a human child.
Baby.
Wait, that's so cute.
Thanks.
Oh, that's the best part of it. I just had to. I had to do it one more time because, just to close out our season on a good note. So I'll add that back into the video.
Thank you so much for doing that. There were some funny moments. I think Nick was funny.
Yeah, he was the only one who saved it a little bit. Exactly. Yeah, no, I definitely he was the only one that I think I said that last time too. I was like, I think Nick's the closest to being funny and he wasn't even that funny, but he was the closest. And I think that's the, most we can ask for is that at least somebody had some humor in there. And that was the funniest part of the whole show was that very scene.
Oh my God, it was hilarious. It was amazing. It warmed my soul, truly.
Truly. We have to end on that note. There's no other note to end on. It's the note.
No.
Mamacita.
The note.
It was so funny when you brought it up earlier, too, because I had it saved, ready to send it. And you were like, Mamacita. I was like, surprise.
Yes. Same page.
Yeah, exactly. So that is for all of you, dear listeners, as well, to send us out on a good note, of Mamacita note, because that is the end of season 7 of Love Island. So now we're looking at Ultimatum, Queer Love, and also Bachelor in Paradise. So those are the 2. We don't know which one we're gonna do yet first, but I think when we do Queer Love, we'll do it in 2 episodes. Bachelor in Paradise we could do in a couple or a few. We'll see what happens there, but we'll get back to you. It's exciting. You never know what you're gonna get next time. And then we're gonna take a little break for summer. So that's what's ahead. For now, you can go to our patreon.com/realitytest. For $5 a month, you can come and join us on Patreon. It's really cheap. We're going to probably give, you a free year membership anyway, because the first few people are going to get that. And you'll get a shout out on our podcast for doing so. Still have only had a couple people, but we shouted them out quite a few times. So thank you again to you all, though. And then we also have our Instagrams at Dr. K Pods and at Dr. Ray Pods, and our TikTok at drdr.realitv, REALITV. And then you're going to find us also on YouTube and Facebook at Reality Test Pod. At Reality Test Pod, no spaces, is our channel on YouTube, and with spaces is our page on Facebook. And last but not least, you can email us at realitycheckpodding, PODDING, at gmail.com.
And don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. And if you cannot financially support us right now, your financial support is very much appreciated.
Please.
But also, please feel free to tell all your friends.
Yeah. Yes, please. And we are trying to get into this, like, better quality video and stuff like that, which is going to take some money. So help us help you have a better experience. I think people do particularly like our videos more. So we'd love to give you more of that content in even better shape. So particularly after this week, which you saw was abysmal. Yeah, it'd be good to have some more money to support that. So thank you much. Thank you much. And we will see you next session, fine people. Bye-bye.
Bye.